Hey you guys, it's Peter, and I'm back. Of course I'm back, I'm not going anywhere. Boost! Peekaboo, I see you because I'm YouTube famous now. Available summer 2023, the album, Dad, Shimmy Shimmy, AF. Rock on gold dust. Boost! Woman! How are you guys doing today? Okay, let's get right into this video, shall we? I have some things I want to talk about today. Some things I noticed going on the internet that I want to talk about. And kind of this is a feeding off of my last video that I talked about Colleen Ballinger and Manny, MUA, and Laura taking down their podcast where they discussed Colleen Ballinger. More developments have occurred since then, so I want to talk about that. And I also want to talk about other friends of Colleen Ballinger's that are kind of hiding, seemingly waiting for her to come out and make some kind of announcement or, you know, address the situation at hand and the allegations that she has been accused of. I want to say, okay, so since you can see that I'm not in my living room or my front porch, you can see that I'm in a different room. If you didn't watch my video from yesterday, I am currently in Mexico. My husband and I are down here for a little birthday vacation. His birthday was last Wednesday, and my birthday is this upcoming Thursday. And yes, the biggest question in the room, we will be doing a couples video, so stay tuned to my Instagram if you want to ask us a question for our couples video. We will be doing that probably on Wednesday, so I'll probably put up the questions tomorrow. And then Thursday for my birthday, I have a video that I want to do that is not drama related or anything, but there's a video that I want to do over here that I'm feeling very moved to do this year. About turning 51. I'm going to be 51 on Thursday, which seems surreal. But there's a video that I want to do and talking about turning 51 and why this is like a really big year for me and everything. So I want to talk about that. I'm getting a little emotional even thinking about it. But before I do, there were some things that I want to talk about. Now I have to say, okay, in talking about Colleen Ballinger coming out and making a statement and her friends waiting for her to possibly come out and make a statement. And, you know, it's interesting because whenever I do a video and I talk about this, the reaction is kind of mixed. There's a lot of people that say that Colleen is going to be forced to make a reaction to this, or she's going to be forced to make a statement, right? And then there are those people that are saying, no, that legal behind the scenes is telling her that she absolutely should not make a statement, and that, you know, they are the ones that are really, you know, handling the situation behind the scenes, and on and on and on, right? And if you want to hear what I have to say about people coming out and saying, why is this even coming up again? This came up 4 years ago. I addressed that deeply in my last video that I think I put up 2 days ago. So you can go hear what I have to say about that. But needless to say, okay, the allegations that came out 4 years ago that Colleen Ballinger came out and made this piss-ass apology for, that drove a lot of hate and negativity towards Adam McIntyre, the allegations are much deeper this time. And there are literally hundreds of people that are coming out and making similar allegations to what Adam McIntyre is saying as well this time, right? So when people want to compare this to what happened 4 years ago, this is so much deeper than what happened 4 years ago. So many international news sources have picked this up at this point. Rolling Stone, Huffington Post, NBC. I just saw another one yesterday. BuzzFeed is talking about this, which is not necessarily an international news source, but there's a lot of people news-wise that are coming out and talking about this now. It's starting to pick up more and more traction, and the more that this gets talked about, I truly believe that Colleen at some point is going to have to come out and address this. In some way, she is going to have to come out and address this. And I don't care if she has the best attorneys in the entire world, and I don't care if she has the best PR people in the entire world. There is nobody that would come out and say, you have to stay silent and continue to hide. Her career will be ruined. Literally, I mean, if it's not ruined already by the allegations and how long she's waited. I mean, at this point, there are so many people in my comment sections are like, if she even comes out at this point, it's so late at this. I mean, it's been over 3 weeks, right? So there's really no point in her even coming out and saying anything. She's continuing to tour. She's continuing to do meet and greets. The only thing she's not doing is posting videos or actively being on social media, which apparently she was still in one of these group chats until just a couple days ago when she finally left, and then that was big news because somebody sent that to Adam McIntyre. So she was still, I mean, even though she was being accused of all these allegations of having conversations in these group chats she was still in one of these group chats allegedly until just a couple days ago, right? Which just kind of like baffles your mind when you think about that, right? That she thinks that there's absolutely nothing wrong with what went down and was still staying in there, right? So I believe that she will come out and she will make a statement, and I actually think, all jokes aside, that it will happen this week, and let me tell you why, okay, as a little psychic prediction. Every single time that I go on vacation, something huge pops off. When we went to Miami the last time, I can't remember what happened, but it was something, I think it was the Trisha Paytas documentary series and coming out, and she was doing this huge documentary series. I think that was the big thing that popped off at that time. But the last time that we were in Mexico, which was for New Year's Eve, was when Michaela Nogueira came out and started talking about drama channels, and then right after that was the Lash Gate situation with Michaela Nogueira and stuff. So every single time that I'm on vacation, something huge pops off, and the only thing that I can imagine that's going to happen is that Colleen, I mean, it's now been 3 weeks. I can't imagine that she's going to wait much longer and not come out and address this. I mean, she has to. At some point, if she wants to save her career, and I know there are those people out there that are like, no, she doesn't have to come out and address this. I know that there are those super fans of Colleen that are saying that she shouldn't come out and address this. She absolutely should come out and address this, okay? If Colleen wants to save her career, she needs to come out and she needs to take some accountability, some responsibility, right? I know she's probably legally being told in certain ways how to do that so that she doesn't implicate herself, so that there can be further lawsuits down the road. I totally understand that, okay? I don't necessarily agree with that. I think she needs to just own her part in this and take responsibility for it and be accountable. But for those of you out there that are still standing by Colleen, don't you at least want her to come out and say, I mean, if you are a super fan of Colleen Ballinger, don't you think she should come out and say there's nothing true to these allegations and I'm not going to address them? At least say that, you know? At least say there's nothing true to these allegations. There's nothing true to these 1,000 pieces of evidence that have been shown. There's no truth to all of this evidence of the group chats that I've had and the DMs that I've had with minors and on and on and on. I mean, there's no truth to the video clips that people are finding of my shows and of past videos that I've done where I've said inappropriate things. There's absolutely no truth to that. Well, first of all, can somebody explain to me how she can come out and she can even say that? She can't, right? So for everybody out there wanting to excuse her and say that there's nothing wrong in what she did, I mean, at this point, hundreds of thousands of pieces of evidence to the contrary, right? So Colleen Ballinger, to save her career, is going to have to come out and address this. Her shows are literally bombing at this point. Nobody is going to her shows. I'm getting contacted left and right by people that are saying, I used to be such a huge fan of you know, Colleen and Miranda Sings. I have tickets to her upcoming show. I don't know what to do. I don't want these tickets anymore. Blah, 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 blah. The venue will not, you know, refund my money. I don't know what to do anymore, you know? I'm like, well, that's on you. You gotta make your decisions for what you guys are gonna do, you know? But I wanna talk about the friends, because it seems to me that this is kind of a hot topic right now, you know, that a lot of people are saying that the friends need to come out and address this. And a lot of people are saying that there's no reason why why should the friends address this? And I actually really liked this comment that I got on my video the other day, because I really do believe this to some degree. And this woman said that the people that we choose to surround ourselves with are very representative of who we are as people. So, and I believe that to some degree. Unless you want to come out and say something and say, I don't condone this person and what they said, or I don't co-sign what they said, you know, what they say or what they did, then how are we to know otherwise? How are we not to know that you don't believe the same things that they do, right? Especially when many of the friends of Colleen Ballinger, like Manny MUA, like Daniel Prada, like Laura Lee, who says she was never friends with her, even though apparently she went to a Christmas party of hers, and she hangs out with Daniel Prada all the time. I mean, I can't believe that these women's, you know, tracks have never met. But apparently Laura's not friends with Colleen, doesn't know Colleen. I looked, she doesn't follow her on any social media. Manny still follows Colleen. Colleen still follows Manny. Daniel Prada still follows Colleen. Colleen still follows Daniel. Joey still follows Colleen. Colleen still follows Joey. So, you know, what's interesting is when you take a look at this group of people, they're the same people that are very friendly with James Charles, you know? And so the common comment that is kind of being discussed on Twitter and other places is that these people that are all surrounding Colleen Ballinger are the same people that were surrounding James Charles, who apparently have no problem with predatorial behavior. Now, we don't know anything to the contrary because they've never come out and said anything to the contrary. These are the same people that have never spoken out against James Charles, or the same people that have never spoken out against Colleen Ballinger. So what are we supposed to take of that? If we're gonna continue to put money in their pocket and watch their videos and continue to support them and endorse that is, if they're not speaking out against it and they're not coming out and saying, I absolutely 100% do not condone this kind of behavior. When James Charles got in a video called Taking Accountability and supposedly kind of took some responsibility, but he did say, he did call them victims in his video, and he did say he did those things, right? And yet his friends continue to stand by him. Now Colleen Ballinger has even worse allegations, and her friends aren't coming out and saying anything. So the reason that I think it's important, personally, for me, right, is that if I'm going to continue to support these people, if I'm going to continue to wear their lip glosses in my videos, or buy their products, or watch their videos, or their foolish, full coverage podcasting, if I'm going to continue to do that and support these people, then I want to know who it is that I'm supporting. I want to know who it is that I'm believing in, right? And if those people aren't coming out and saying anything against the things that I think that I would hope, because I thought that these are good people, that they would say, you know, and they're not, right? And so it really bothers me. And so if you don't know the situation, Laura Lee and Manny MUA, they have a podcast called Full Coverage, okay? And in their Full Coverage podcast for this week, they let it off, and the first part of the title said Colleen Ballinger. So you go in, you watch this podcast knowing that they're going to talk about Colleen Ballinger, okay? Now, I have to say, I was pleased that a lot of people in the comment sections said that Laura and Manny seemed very off in this video, okay? I don't know if it was their nerves. I don't know if they were nervous about what they were talking about. I don't know if they knew that they were going to get criticized for this, but they seemed very off. Like, Laura was just like, I don't really understand, like, what is going on? Like, I'm so clueless, blah, 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 whatever, okay? And yes, I am repeating this because it's very pertinent, okay? So they come out and they say, or have this conversation about Colleen Ballinger. Laura says she doesn't know her. Laura's like, she pulls a Mariah Carey. She's like, I don't know her. You know, I've never really interacted with her. I don't know her, and things like that, right? And then Manny MUA says, well, I've done collabs with her. Well, it's been proven at this point that Manny's done several collabs with Colleen Ballinger, okay? He's like, I haven't talked to her in a long time. You know, just because I did collabs with her doesn't mean that we're friendly, doesn't mean that we're super close friends, yada, 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 okay? Fine, I grant him that, okay? But then what they did was, Manny said that he felt sorry for Colleen and what she was going through right now. And there was really no mention of the victims that have come out and shared their stories, of Adam McIntyre, except for saying that Adam McIntyre got a lot of crap 4 years ago. And Laura's like, why though? Like, I don't really understand. And then Manny's like, well, apparently because he came out, you know, and she's like, oh, I get that, I guess, right? So it just was very strange. And for me, it was like, okay, so you guys are willing to be empathetic and sympathetic towards somebody that is being accused of and having allegations of predatory behavior, but you don't want to come out and talk about the victims at all. And it was very obvious that they didn't do the research of what was going on. In fact, they said that, right? What I said in my video was I didn't believe that at all. That I believe 100% they know exactly what is going on and that they played dumb. And what I said was that I felt that they had to play dumb, okay? I felt that they knew that they had to address it because they hadn't addressed it in the week's previous podcast. And everybody came out and said, you guys haven't addressed this in your podcast. Why aren't you addressing this? You always address issues on the internet, blah, 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 but you didn't address it. So they knew that they had to, right? They couldn't come out and say that they were close with her. So they had to make excuses for why they weren't. Laura's was that she truly isn't close with the woman and she doesn't really know her, okay? Manny had to come out and say, well, I did some collabs with her because he knew people were going to find that, but then distance himself and say, but I didn't really know her, okay? So now we've come out, we've discussed it, we've said that we don't really know her very well, okay? And then the third part is actually addressing what went on. The only option they had, because people know that they have to know what's going on behind the scenes, right? They are very close friends with some of Colleen's best friends, Joey Graceffa and Daniel Prada. Daniel Prada is Manny MUA's closest friend besides Laura Lee, and I'm going to prove that in just a second, okay? So they come out, and he's empathetic towards Colleen and says, I feel really bad for what Colleen's going through. Okay, fine. But you don't say anything about the victims and what the victims are going through and that they're having to relive all of this trauma and this traumatic experience all over again. by talking about it and sharing it and whatever. There's no empathy or sympathy towards those people whatsoever. You know, and a lot of people said that part of the reason why they believe that Manny and Laura are so kind to people that are getting canceled on their podcast is because they have been canceled themselves, and so they have to so they have like a kindness in their heart about it. You know what? Give me an effing break, okay? First of all, if that were a drama channel, they want to talk about drama topics on their podcast, but they don't consider themselves drama channels, but they want to talk about drama topics, okay, without doing their research. And I have to tell you, when I talked about this in my last video, there were so many people that came out and said, Manny and Laura never do their research. Manny has made jokes about certain situations. Manny and Laura make jokes about situations that are very, very serious, and they don't do their research, and they don't know what they're talking about, okay? But yet they want to call themselves, you know, a podcast talking about internet topics. No, what they are is a drama channel. All they are is a drama channel on that podcast. I don't care what you say, okay? Because if they're talking about drama topics, they're talking about drama channels. Let me just tell you, okay? If we came out and we were excusing behaviors of people as drama channels, as commentary channels, whatever you want to call us, okay? And people wanted to use the excuse, well, maybe they're kinder to these people because they've all been canceled too. Because many of us, okay, myself included, as drama channels, as commentary channels, have gone through our own tough times, all right? Nobody would let us use that as an excuse to get away with being kind to the person that had done something wrong. Trust, okay? They would call us out, and what they would say is that we're being biased. So I don't know why, if Manny and Laura don't feel that they should talk about this topic, what they should say is, we are too close to the situation. Manny should say, I did collabs with Colleen Ballinger. I am not the person to talk about this, okay? I do know the woman. I have been friendly with the woman. I can't see past my own personal bias to talk about this. But no, what do? They do this whole podcast, right? Well, they start getting comment after comment after comment after comment. I mean, I have many of the comments. Somebody screen recorded all the comments and sent them to me, right? And people are like, Manny, you really missed the mark on this. You guys, you really missed the mark. You should never have had this conversation. You didn't have time to read one article, 2 articles, watch one video. You didn't have time to watch one of Adam McIntyre's videos. Nothing. You didn't have time to do any of this kind of stuff, right? But you had time to put it in a podcast and put Colleen Ballinger's name at the front of the title so that you can yet again clickbait a title for clicks and views off of somebody else's trauma. Just like what Daniel Prada did. I talked about that before. And a lot of people said that they felt that the previous week's podcast was also a clickbait title because they said, we need to tell you something. And they felt like people thought they were going to come out and talk about Colleen Ballinger then, and they felt like that was a clickbait title, right? So first they disable comments, then they take the video down, okay? Now, it is now at this point been about 4 days since I made this video. I just looked. Manny has not addressed it on Twitter, on Instagram, nowhere, okay? Laura has not addressed it on Instagram, on Twitter, anywhere. They are still to this day posting Instagram stories, Instagram reels, funny things of them, blah, 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 whatever. Oh, by the way, Laura and Manny also went out last night to dinner and hung out with Daniel Prada, who incidentally deleted his Twitter 2 days ago because he's getting so much crap. Oh yeah, Daniel Prada. Here, let's pull up his Twitter right here. Hold on just a second. Daniel Prada's Twitter. Here it is. Oh, something went wrong. You can't see it. It's gone, right? Why did he delete it? Because he's too much heat in the kitchen. Daniel Prada can't handle all the comments he's getting because every time he tweets out something about new dogs that he got or taking care of his dogs or home renovations or something, it's flooded with comments of people coming out and saying, why are you not talking about Colleen? Why are you not addressing the Colleen situation? Why are you not talking about the Colleen situation? Yada, 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 okay? Which is interesting because you would think that maybe he would then also delete his Instagram, which he hasn't. His Instagram is still up. And when you go over here and you look at this one, from, hold on a second, from June 2nd, when you look over on here where he says, it's been, I've been happy lately. He also has on here James Charles' birthday cake where it says, and you did it at my birthday party. So Daniel Prada, to this day, still thinks that that's a funny joke, okay? That predators are funny. Apparently, Daniel Prada thinks that's funny. But what does Daniel Prada do? When Daniel Prada literally is one of the mouthiest people on the internet and has absolutely no problem coming out for people, and a lot of people wanted to say this too, you know? When Gabby Hanna came out and had a lot to say about Joey Graceffa and Daniel Prada and their set of Escape the Night, Daniel Prada made a video that got over 1 million views. Joey Graceffa made a video. All these people came out and said something. I said something too. I didn't think anything that she said was right, okay? But then to pick and choose your moral superiority. He's talked about Jeffree Star, he's talked about this, he doesn't talk about James Charles. Oh no, he continues to go to James Charles parties. So does Manny, right? So does Laura. He continues to do all these kinds of things. So what does he do when he gets too much heat in the kitchen? He deletes his Twitter, all right? And then you got Manny and Laura over here who are playing dumb and acting like, oh, who, me? We don't know anything about the situation. We don't know anything that's going on. We have no clue what you're talking about whatsoever, okay? Well, hold on a second. Here's Daniel Prada's Instagram story from last night. Looks like that's him and Manny together, doesn't it? And then when you go over to Manny's Instagram, hold on real quick, and you look over here, he has got, oh look, here's him and Daniel Prada in pictures. And here's him and Daniel Prada hanging out in the picture I showed before. Oh, here they are dancing at a bar. And here's Daniel Prada hanging out on the ground. So you're sitting there having dinner, going out to bars and dancing with Daniel Prada when you don't have time to address with your audience why you deleted your podcast, taking the wrong stance on Colleen Ballinger, not doing your research. You don't have time to address your audience. You say you don't know anything about what's going on. Daniel Prada is literally one of Colleen Ballinger's best friends. In fact, people fact-checked it and told me in my comments in my video that he came out and said Colleen's one of my best friends in a video that he did around December, okay? So we know that Daniel is one of Colleen's best friends. He's deleted his Twitter as of 2 days ago, and yesterday you guys are hanging out with Daniel Prada, and you want to tell us that you have no clue what's going on with the Colleen Ballinger situation? Yeah, pull this leg and it plays Jingle Bells. I ain't buying it, okay? At all. Not to mention, when Daniel Prada's ex-boyfriend, Joey Graceffa, on his Twitter, which this is very interesting as well, because, you know, Daniel Prada, I mean, he and Joey Graceffa have now been broken up for 525,600 minutes, and yet Daniel Prada is constantly posting TikToks of, like, joking, like, we're getting back together, and always doing videos about, like, redoing Joey's house, and hanging out with Joey and the dogs, and whatever, because I guess Daniel Prada doesn't have a career if it's not with his ex, Joey Graceffa, who actually gave him a career to begin with. I don't know. That's just my assumption, okay? But when you go over to Joey Graceffa's Twitter, the last tweet that he has is from his birthday on May 16th, and it says, 32 is already official or something like that. When you go underneath here, okay, Joey Graceffa copyright striked a video of Adam McIntyre's where Adam had included a clip of Joey Graceffa with Colleen Ballinger doing an inappropriate, like, scene, right? Like in a collab video, of which there are tons and tons and tons and tons and tons of collab videos between Colleen Ballinger and Joey Graceffa. Why? Because Joey Graceffa is one of Colleen Ballinger's best friends. When you go underneath here, let me just tell you, about 20% of the comments are happy birthday, and then you get about a third of the way down, and it says, it's Adam McIntyre, and he says, can you address why you gave me a copyright strike? And somebody responds and says, it's been 13 hours, Joey. Why? Okay? And then when you go underneath here, it's literally comment after comment after comment. Your team copyright striked Adam McIntyre. Can you address it? Can you address the copyright strike in Adam McIntyre's video? Why did Adam McIntyre get a copyright strike for a clip in his video that had you partaking in an inappropriate joke with Colleen Ballinger? Why did you strike down Adam McIntyre's video about Colleen? Have something to hide? Where's Colleen Groomer? Can you address the copyright strike against Adam McIntyre? It goes on and on and on. And people are just, like, not having it with Joey Graceffa. Where's Joey? Silent. He doesn't have anything to say. Oh, posted another video about a dog. And people are saying that he adopted this dog and whatever, because, of course, he needs another dog. And people are saying that, which they got a lot of backlash for. I don't know if you know this, but Daniel Prada and Joey Graceffa got a lot of backlash because they bred their dog. And people, this was like months ago, and people were like, why did you do that when there are so many, like, rescue dogs and dogs that need to be adopted? Why would you do this and make a video about it? And they never came out and addressed that. Which makes you wonder. It's interesting because several years ago, Joey Graceffa came out in a video and he said something about, like, he's never been involved in any drama. And he addressed, like, the one piece of drama that he had been involved in, which was nothing. Well, you're welcome to the world of drama, because you are now involved in some high internet controversy, okay? That, like, I don't even call this drama. I think this is way too serious. I mean, these are serious, serious allegations that many international news sources are picking up on now. Your ex-boyfriend deleted his Twitter because he couldn't handle what's going on, and yet he still is able to hang out with the two fools from Fool Coverage that say that they have absolutely no knowledge, which means that is a direct lie straight from the pit of hell. They are literally hanging out with Colleen Ballinger's best friend, self-proclaimed best friend, saying they have no idea what is going on with the Colleen Ballinger situation, which is a lie straight from the pit of hell. So they got in that podcast and they lied to their audience to cover their own ASSs, to protect their own career, then deleted the podcast, and they didn't want to come out at all and address. They couldn't even put up a tweet or anything and say, or a community tab post on their podcast and say, hey, you guys, we really missed the mark with this. We really didn't get this right. We really didn't do our research, which I still believe is a lie. They know everything that's going on. So we need to delete the tweet. So what that tells you is, okay, and this is why this is important to talk about. This is why the friends, Tyler Oakley came out and made a very nice statement about it and said, I don't know her, and this is why I'm happy to be away from YouTube, okay? Because these people are problematic, and I'm glad I'm near them, and I'm glad I don't know them today, okay? And if Tyler Oakley can come out and say something about it and say there's nothing to write about this, if Kendall Ray, if a lot of other people can come out about this, hell, Jeffree Star came out and said it's sick. What she did was sick, okay? That's Jeffree Star, okay? And listen, he's got his own skeletons in his closet that he needs to clean up, right? But if all these people can come out and talk about it, why can't his friends? Which means his friends condone, or her friends condone this behavior. And many of them also condone the behavior of James Charles, which makes me, okay, as a watcher of YouTube and a watcher of these people, question, should I continue to support them? Should I continue to put money in their pocket? Should I continue to watch their videos? If they don't even have the courtesy to come out, hell, if I don't film a vlog, I post on my community tab and on the Vloggerinos group on my Facebook group. I post on there, you guys, I'm taking the night off. I'm not filming my vlog tonight. Just wanted you to know. So that people don't worry about where my vlog is. But these fools don't even have the courtesy to come out and address why they took down their problematic podcast that they supposedly didn't do research on to cover their own ASS. Know why? But they're out to dinner with one of Colleen's biggest supporters, okay? So what that should tell you guys is they don't care about you. They don't care about the victims. They don't care about the situation. All they care about is covering their ASSs. And that's why they got in that foolish Fool Coverage podcast to address it. And it burnt them up, and so they had to remove it. And they don't know how to address it now. It's like, who, what? It's like a bunch of kids playing house. They don't know how to handle it, right? What does Daniel Prada do? He just deletes his Twitter. What does Joey do? Throws up some video of him adopting a dog. And people are like, he did that because he's trying to garner sympathy from people because he won't come out and address Colleen Ballinger. The whole thing makes me sick. I mean, and there's many, many people. It's not just them, okay? But they're the ones getting talked about today because they're the ones that are being the most problematic about it, you know? I don't know why, first of all, you want to post 6 pictures of being out with Colleen Ballinger's best friend when you didn't have to post any of those pictures at all, okay? You didn't have to make it clear to everybody in the world that Daniel Prada is your best friend. When Daniel literally the day before had just deleted his Twitter, the only reason we can think of is he'll say he's taking a break from social media, right? But the only reason that he would have done it is because literally everything he posts, he gets bombarded with people tweeting him saying, why aren't you coming out and talking about Colleen? She's supposedly your best friend. Don't you have anything to say about it? You know? I don't know if these people are 30 years old, because most of them 30, 32 years old. If they're 30 playing 15, if they're 30 playing 17, and that's why they have these parasocial relationships with these types of audience members, and they don't really see the difference. I don't know if that's why they continue to hang around with James Charles and think that there's nothing different. But in the adult world, you and I both know if this was happening on your street, if this was happening in your family, if this was happening in your friend group, if this was happening to people that you know you would not think that it was okay. Period. End of story. Period. End of story. Anyway, let me know what you guys think about all of that in the comment section below. I love you guys, and I'll see you tomorrow.